It is Wednesday, October 30th, AD 2024, live on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, I'm pretty sure, D Live, what's up, D Live crew, and other platforms. And we're gonna have a fun, loosey-goosey, The Hake Report show, co-hosted by the great, the one, the only, Crishaun the Don of the Misfit Nation is back. What's up, Crishaun the Don? Are you there? Oh, let me see if I can unmute him. You got him unmuted already? Bass guitar. Nice. Are you there?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Ah, nice, nice. Hey there, Hake.
Hey.
The Hakester. What's going on, my friend?
Not much. Just having a busy Wednesday, a loosey-goosey fun Wednesday.
Nice.
Those who don't know, Crishaun the Don is the host of the Misfit Nation. He's been on my show a number of times, and we're going to be talking about a few different things. I know you callers been arguing and debating about whether or not they're eating the cats.
They're eating the cats. And I love that clip though of Trump. It's so funny.
Me too, man. And also the Puerto Rican trash island. We'll talk about that, and why Eminem, our resident rap expert, Crishaun the Don of the Misfit Nation. You may see him in chat sometimes too. Why Eminem
reluctantly
is a Kamala supporter. Reluctantly, you're in the live chat, the snake pit.
No, I was saying reluctantly. I'm a rap expert.
Yeah, I know. Right.
It's just was such a big part of my life. I have to give my. Well, I think it's interesting on the because a lot of right wingers aren't into that world.
Right.
So to give that perspective from a conservative standpoint, I think is interesting, at least to me. You don't hear it a lot.
I agree with that. I kind of like having. I actually have always somewhat liked rap. I grew up on Stephen Wiley. I'm sure you haven't heard of him. He was a Christian rapper from back in the day, in the early mid '80s. He was the original Christian rapper. Some people say, rapping for Jesus, the Bible break, and so I've always really appreciated. I like Big Bump. I like Joel Friday. I like Crishaun the Don. They're wholesome. It's not all wholesome. I accidentally played a Big Bump song that cussed. But anyway.
Oh, come on, Big Bump.
He warned me about it. He warned me, but he warned me after I started to play it because he wasn't aware that I was going to do it.
Because a lot of people tune into my show after they hear me on here. I keep it clean for Hake. Nice. Because I respect Hake.
Right.
But, I have a foul mouth myself, so I'm no one to judge. Indeed.
Well, so we'll get to your calls, guys. You are welcome to call in and talk with Hake and Crishaun the Don. But anyway, guys, I think it's just about time that we get started on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Oh, Lord. So, how you guys doing? I am fine. Which one is him? SSRC. Oh, Super Source. I am fine. How are you guys doing? Oh, there we go. Oh, he set it up. Anyway, I got my not all, but hold on. But most t-shirt, by the way. It's a JLP tee. Is this version up front and back on Printify? Oh, sweet.
Oh, on Printify?
On Printify, I think it's like has not all, maybe, but most on the front of the Printify. But anyway, you can get a version of this tee on the Jesse Lee Peterson store on Printify. And the way you find that is by going to rebuildingtheman.com/church. No, but /stores. Pardon me, I'm slightly distracted. But anyway, I want to.
Let me get.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, real quick. Let me get my promo in. I have my Florida Where Woke Goes to Die T-shirt.
Nice. Hey, it has a little Grim Reaper underneath palm trees. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a good Grim Reaper because it kills wokeness.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, you can get that on shopmisfitnation.com.
Nice. Yeah.
You don't have to be a Floridian to wear it.
By the way, you can follow Crishaun the Don on Misfit Nation on YouTube, Crishaun the Don on X, and there are other links as well. He's on Podbean and other podcast platforms.
Misfitnation.podbean.com.
Nice.
Pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts, just type in Misfit Nation.
Right.
It'll
on.
pop up. And I always say I'm better audio only. I don't know why. I just feel like it is.
Okay. Yeah, it probably captures your imagination a little bit more. Nice.
I always thought radio was the greatest form of entertainment.
It's pretty cool. It really is. It's interesting. So let's dive in because the lines are filling up, and I will get to your calls, guys. But let's first talk. We started talking about rap. What's this Eminem character? Is he the best rapper, or was he the best rapper?
Well, that's the part of rap that kind of annoyed me when I was in it, is because they try to be competitive with something that's like subjective,
right?
And it's kind of like it's like, who's the greatest rapper ever? I like having the conversation just for like a mind kind of jogger kind of thing.
Yeah,
see where people are at, but yeah, it's subjective. Like I think he is, but then I also. I like other rappers that, just as much. And I don't listen to Eminem as much anymore.
Yeah. Fair enough. That's fair.
It's more nostalgic, I guess.
Have you noticed, before we get into what you want to say, that Crishaun, have you noticed that Eminem is like an overgrown, bitter person?
Absolutely, yeah.
He's like,
I noticed
he hasn't outgrown that. And he looks like he should have outgrown that.
Yeah, I noticed because I went through like a similar, I guess similar is a good word, childhood, as far as like I wasn't abused or anything like, he claimed to be. And I don't dispel that it happened, but right. I related to his music for that, reason. But there was a point where I grew up and I was like, I can't listen to this anymore. I don't feel it. Like I'm beyond that. So, yeah, I agree. I think he just had he never got past a lot of his problems, which is what probably led him to the the drug addiction and all that type of stuff.
I wasn't aware that he was ever addicted to drugs. Dang.
Oh yeah.
Was that before, after, or during his rap career?
He took a long hiatus after it was kind of after his contract went up in his record label. And then he took a long hiatus, but he lied and said that it was like he had pneumonia and got sick and stuff like that, but it was really a drug overdose.
Well, good for him. Yeah. Keeping that. He was like Bill Cosby, keeping his issues private. I can respect that.
I mean, he came out eventually and, did a whole album about it. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think it was more of protecting the image.
Yeah. So, but now he's just destroying his image. Ever since Trump came on the scene, he's had like severe Trump derangement syndrome. What's going on with him? And did he really endorse Kamala?
Yeah. And it's actually the first Democratic president he's endorsed like by name, like outright. And I have a theory on all of that. And really, it all kind of ties back to Eminem's basically before he became famous back in like 1990. He recorded a demo like when he first started rapping, and in this demo, he made like a lot of like racist remarks about black women and black people. He was using the N-word all that type of stuff. Now, when I say racist, don't, I'm just saying racist in terms of like how liberals perceive it.
Right.
To me, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
But basically, he made this tape back in the 90s before he was famous. And then, you fast forward to the year was like 2002, which is when he put out his third album. And he's basically on top of the world at this point. He's the number one artist in the world, not even just rapper. And he signed 50 Cent in the same year. And with 50 Cent came all these like rap beefs that people, were hating on 50 Cent, and it was all connected to the streets and all that type of stuff.
Because that 50 Cent got shot, right? Wasn't that part of his claim to fame?
Yeah, pretty much.
At some point. I mean,
he got shot, I think, 9 times, survived it, and 50 Cent is now basically endorsing Trump. So it's kind of funny that they're two best friends, endorsing the opposite candidate. But basically in 03, right? This guy who worked for a magazine called The Source, his name was Benzino. He's still around actually, and he's still beefing with Eminem. He gets a hold of all these racist tapes and he puts them out to destroy Eminem's career.
Uh-huh.
You see what I'm saying? Because he was on the other side of all the beefs with 50 Cent, and now he's trying to destroy Eminem, right? So these tapes come out. Eminem is for a little bit kind of exposed as a racist. I'm going to put that in quotes again because that's how liberals will put it. And they tried to destroy his career. Now, this is where sort of my
happened
theory
within like the past year or so, or when did this come out?
This is back in 2003.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the reason why a lot of people don't know about this is, well, a lot of people do, but they don't really care.
Right.
Is because back then it got sort of quelled by what I believe to be, the liberal cabal that we know of today, right? And basically they quieted it and they suppressed it under the conditions that Eminem donates a lot of money to, black female causes and black, charities and stuff, basically indefinitely for the rest of his career, right?
He has the green light.
Right. So now the next year, 2004, Eminem releases a song called Mosh, which was, it went, on the billboards and all that. And basically it was a song completely endorsing the Democratic Party, completely disavowing Republicans and conservatives and destroying Bush. And now, I'm no defender of Bush. I don't think he's not my guy or anything like that.
Right.
But
it was very popular, and it was very lame and typical for people to bash Bush at that point.
I suppose.
It seemed very trendy to me. It seemed extremely trendy to me.
I suppose.
They were calling him Hitler, the devil, all kinds of stuff. It was very Democrat to do it.
Yeah, probably. And it was Democrat to think that it was going against the grain to do it. And and I was caught up in that world at that time.
Oh,
so
okay.
I probably
my perception, my recollection of that whole time was it was typical and trendy of any musician to go, "Oh, big wow, you're going against Bush," or "Ooh, big wow, you're going against Trump." It's like you're going along a whole bunch of people who are applauding you. You're preaching to the choir, basically.
Yeah,
it's very brave.
Exactly, it's them calling you brave, but they're the ones that are controlling you and stuff like that.
Yep.
But that's the thing, is that's where I think it all kind of lines up. Where now that election year came, Eminem drops a song about going after, basically endorsing the Democratic Party, going after the conservatives. I don't think it's a coincidence that his career was saved, and then he automatically becomes this huge political guy, right? Even I remember back then I thought it was a little off. Like, why did he put that out? I liked it because I was a liberal, but I was like, wow, that's not like Eminem, right? So, and that was the first time he ever directly endorsed any politicians, and that was, I believe, John Kerry that was running against
George
Bush, right?
Yeah.
So Yeah, and then after that, ever since then, Eminem's been endorsing the Democratic Party. Every election, except for maybe when he was on his drug hiatus.
Right.
But yeah, so when you get down to this election, the reason why Eminem has actually come out and said Kamala Harris specifically he's endorsing and actually named it by name is because look at to the liberals, he has a history of making racist remarks towards black women, and he doesn't want to, he doesn't want to be labeled as a racist.
Oh.
So of course, when the first black woman running for president comes out, he has to support her.
Wow.
Otherwise, he loses his career.
Do you remember
he becomes a racist?
Do you remember his cipher against
Yes.
Trump? Man, that was embarrassing. It was kind of like hard to watch how the mighty have fallen. And also how he used to like thumb his nose at the media, the mainstream media, who acted like, oh, he's talking about killing people and hating women and hating gays and this and that. And now he is the mainstream. He's become the mainstream. Like he's no different from any of them.
Well, that goes into the whole thing of where liberals and Democrats can say racist things and say homophobic things and pretty much say anything they want. Look at what happened with the Tony Hinchcliffe thing, where he makes a joke about, and I'm sure we'll talk about that later, but makes a joke about Puerto Rico being a floating piece of trash, right?
You're right.
He gets this whole campaign of cancel him, he's a racist, he's horrible, all that type of stuff. George Lopez literally made a joke, I think on the same day at a Kamala rally, which I didn't even know those existed, Kamala rallies. They probably all thought they were going there to see George Lopez tell jokes, you know what I mean? But he makes a joke about Mexicans being thieves, and he doesn't get criticized for it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So we can make the jokes because we're not the racist. We don't mean it. But then you look at the thing, it's like George Lopez's joke was way worse. It was way more racist.
Interesting.
Calling Mexicans thieves as Tony Hinchcliffe just called an island, which isn't a person.
Right.
A piece of garbage.
a floating island of garbage. Something like that.
Yeah.
So wow.
That's why Joe Biden could say, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
Right.
That's why Kamala Harris can code switch every 5 minutes, depending on who she's in front of. Like, it's not the same standard.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
So they can say in a second, the tapes that you've all said were not racist or you didn't care about. All of a sudden, we can make you guys care about that. We can make you guys care about Eminem now being a racist. We just have to put it in the media for a little bit.
Do you think Eminem is jealous of Trump?
If I were giving Eminem the benefit of the doubt, knowing what he was in the past, this free speech kind of guy, I thought, being naive, I thought he would have been a Trump guy.
Right. Exactly. That's what I would think. Because Trump is what Eminem pretended to be, basically.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He doesn't care about the media.
Eminem was facing backlash in his day. So I didn't understand how he couldn't get it. Like me being an Eminem fan, I was like, okay, I get what Trump is what that was. You know what I mean? And he's not even as bad. He wasn't saying like crazy homophobic things.
No, Trump has just been normal and well-meaning.
Right.
That
so
was
if I were to give Eminem the benefit of the doubt, I would believe he's not, in his heart of hearts, he's not really a Kamala supporter. He's just doing it to save his career.
Yeah.
However, then you look at it, Eminem does also have a trans daughter.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. He doesn't. She's not out in.
It's different from Haley.
Public as much.
Obviously.
Not Haley. It's the other one.
Haley's a real daughter.
I forget her name.
Okay. Wow.
Elena or something like that.
Man. So he's just like Elon Musk.
Yeah. Well, Elon Musk at least says that, hey, I lost my son.
Right.
Like,
His son
Eminem's
died.
all for it, supposedly. So
wow.
But then at the same time, is that him letting the political aspect of him saving his career creep into his own house and it's like I can't even say anything about my own daughter.
Yeah.
'Cause
Who
I'll
really
lose my
knows?
career. But at the end of the day, you're still selling your soul. You're still,
Right. Yeah,
know.
that's true. That's the bottom line. It doesn't necessarily even matter. We can speculate about what prompted him, his motivations, but it's obvious that he's not really a man of integrity. I think we
Good
can
way to
say
put
that.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever his thinking is, it's not a thinking in an integral way.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
That's pretty low. That's a low point to be endorsing Kamala. Even major newspapers are not endorsing Kamala at this point. Not the Washington Post, not Garrett, which is a major newspaper chain. And but Eminem is.
We had that
According to you.
conversation on our show where we were like, what would it take for us to like endorse Kamala even on a fake level? Like, let me just fake my way through it and make this money.
Right.
I don't even know if I could do it just on a level of like, I would retch.
Yeah.
I couldn't fake it.
You wouldn't be able to do it without a smirk.
Yeah, I'd have to do it completely sarcastically or play like a character or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Speaking of racism, I want to get to a call before we get into the Hinchcliffe comment about the Puerto Rico. I have
Yeah,
a
of
call
course.
about the cats and dogs in Ohio. Hayden in Texas is on the line with Hayden. Are you there?
Yeah, how's it going, Hake?
Hey, you're live with Crishaun the Don of the Misfit Nation.
How's it going, Crishaun? I don't think we met before.
Hey, Hayden. I don't think so.
Nice to meet you. All right, so Hake,
Nice to meet you.
I was going to spend a little bit more time, but I didn't know you were having a guest on the show.
No problem.
I sent you 3 videos. 2 are 2 minutes long, and the other one's 3 minutes long. So the at most is 3 minutes long. Showing support of what I was talking about yesterday.
And you made the claim yesterday that that the Haitians in Springfield, Ohio, are eating the cats and dogs, according to you.
And these videos from a month ago, before the debate between Trump and Harris, will confirm that. It'll just beat down these animals' lives once again.
So these videos that you came across on the internet show them like capturing cats or what?
One's a body cam footage, one's a 911 audio call, and another one's from a news source of one of the Haitians carrying down a goose
Right.
down the sidewalk. At first, they said it was from Springfield, but ended up coming back. It was from Columbus, Ohio. So they got it wrong the first time on the news source one.
I remember JLP covered them like taking a duck or a goose from a pond.
Right. Yeah. Two of them are about that. The other one is body cam footage of a Haitian eating a cat, and she's got blood all over her. And it was a month ago.
that was Nick, American Anchor Baby, said that was an American woman. He played
Yeah,
that
I
on
heard
his
that
show.
wasn't an immigrant.
She might have been a was she an anchor baby? Like, was she a daughter of Haitians or what? She was mentally ill, I think.
Well, yeah, but what I was trying to get at yesterday, he kept throwing me off when he was saying that I was calling him Haitian. I wasn't calling him Haitian at all. And
you're talking about
corrected him on
Ronnie
that.
from Ohio when you debated Ronnie from Ohio yesterday.
Yeah, and that wasn't my point. I was saying that he was for open borders, and he's in support of this flow of non-whiters and what they're doing. And Ohio is just a fraction of the states that are going through this kind of stuff, and they're the only ones reporting on it. Is what I was trying to say. But if you would show your audience those videos, at most one of them is 3 minutes long. You should really show them and shine a light on the truth instead of just hearsay from Ronnie from Ohio, supposedly.
All right. Well, thanks for the heads up on that, Hayden in Texas.
Yeah, thank you, Hake.
Well,
and nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
You have a follow-up?
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say I think it's funny because I didn't hear that conversation, but I do notice that if you bring up the cats and dogs, people eating cats and dogs, like liberals when they argue with you, they automatically go to Haitians.
Right.
So it's like because Trump never said Haitians either.
He
when
said they're
he made
eating the
his-
cats, right?
He
They're
said they.
eating the
Yeah,
cat.
exactly right.
Yeah. Now another point was I heard that the cops, it's Springfield, right?
Yeah, Springfield, Ohio.
Springfield, Ohio. The cops are supposedly not taking reports on eaten pets.
That they
Yeah,
haven't,
that's
that they have
sketchy.
not received any, that they have not received any, or that they refuse to
They're-
take the reports.
They're not taking the reports. They're receiving
No,
them,
that's
but they're not
sketchy.
taking
I heard
them.
that too.
Oh,
Yeah, but I don't have any confirmation. I think it was Charlie Kirk who said that.
Yeah.
But
Meaning like there's a speculation among us, our side, if you will, the right wingers, that it's a cover up.
They don't want to report it.
yes, because we've seen that happen in a lot. I mean, the FBI,
Right.
hide stats. I think New York and Cali doesn't provide any stats to the FBI, and they just
Yeah.
accept that. Any crime stats.
Yeah,
Well-
they quit
well-
counting interracial rape during the
Yeah.
Obama administration.
Well,
Right. At some point, you got to say that somebody's making that call. Like,
Yeah.
hey, don't do that.
Yep.
Right. And
Were you saying,
Crishaun, just to top on that, it's widely known with people who want to tell the truth that these major city Springfield's not really a major city, but these major cities don't want to report on the crime.
Yeah, the government
they're
is against the city civilians. The city government
Right.
is against the city civilians. That seems quite clear to me, because they or either that or they're just cowards who are pandering to negative media coverage and maybe state government or whatever, because the city of Springfield's city page on this whole immigration thing and the immigrants and the FAQs, it's just like this PR cover up, and they're calling
yeah.
them legally here and stuff like that.
Well, look at
it's all garbage.
I'm sorry. Look at the Aurora, Colorado apartments complexes that
Oh,
were being
yeah.
taken over. The police
Right.
came out and nothing's happening. And
Right.
There's a lot of reports that they are being taken over, and then they came out. They had to come out and go, well, it's only 5 of them.
Right.
Like, only 5? What does that mean?
Yeah, you can't trust the government. You can't trust even the local governments. And you
No.
really can't
Yeah.
trust anybody. You shouldn't even really trust these conservatives or city people necessarily. You just don't believe something blindly in either direction. Because I think the bottom line is we don't know. I mean, and the point is not whether they're eating the cats and dogs. It's just kind of calling out how insane it is that we have these people in our beautiful suburbs.
It's really hard.
That's
to
really
believe.
the deeper issue. The cats and dogs
and-
it grabs the attention, and I
And that's
appreciate
why
that.
that's why I think they throw out they specify Haitians when the liberals argue, because they want to make it about like the argument about being, well, what is their nationality?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
I don't care if
Yeah.
it's happening. I don't care what their nationality is. So the point
Right.
is that it's happening.
Don't you think
So
it's
it's
kind of
a-
funny? Like it's a hilarious topic. It cracks
It's
me
funny,
up
yeah.
anyway.
It's
I mean,
silly.
I feel for, I guess, the pet owners if they lost any pets and it could be just wild driving because their cats go missing, they say. And so
Right.
normally a driver, if he hits a cat, he'd be like, oh, I hit a cat. You knock on a neighbor's door or something. Maybe. I don't know. I've
Hey,
heard of
let's-
it.
Let's be real. There's a possibility that people hear the story in the news or Trump says it,
Yeah.
and then their pet actually goes missing for like a legit reason.
And their mind just goes to that because
Goes
of,
to,
the
oh, it's
mind is
yeah.
crazy.
Let's be real. That
Yeah,
happens
right.
on the right wing too.
For
I
sure.
mean,
Yeah.
It-
Anyway.
it's all an attempt to cover up colored crime, and the majority of it happens
Yeah.
in these major cities. I mean, look at Chicago on 4th of July weekend. 100+ people were shot up there, and 15 people were killed. I mean, these are like staggering numbers. They don't want to report on it because it's colored crime, and that's where they're trying to cover it up and blend them in with the rest of society. And a lot of them are Haitians, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Haitians are
So-
also causing a lot of car accidents.
Yeah, the neighbors
They're
say
horrible
that
drivers.
they're reckless drivers. You know how the Asians are overcautious? I think the Haitians, as opposed to the Asians,
They're
are the
undercautious.
opposite extreme.
Undercautious.
Yeah.
Yeah. According to what they've been saying. And I
drive
would
like they're
believe it.
still on
It
an
makes
island.
sense. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, hey, that's all I got for you. Show your audience the evidence, because that popcorn dude or whatever, he called me a liar yesterday, and Ronnie did too. Prove these animals wrong. Prove them wrong with evidence.
Animals. All right, Hayden, I
Animals.
appreciate it. Take care.
All right. Hey, thank you both. Thank you both.
Bye.
All right, Hayden.
Nice. Yeah, is there anything else that you wanted to mention about this Haitians and cats and dogs and stuff like that?
I'm sure it'll come back up again. I mean, I could see where Hayden's coming from. I could believe it's happening. I
Yeah.
could believe they're covering it up. I in South Florida, there are a lot of Haitians here, so I've been doing my my field work, and I've been asking Haitians, do they actually eat cats and dogs?
Oh, good. Yeah. What did they tell you?
Now, if Haitians are really eating cats and dogs, then it's the greatest kept secret ever, and they will die on that hill. They swear they don't eat cats and dogs.
Okay. Some Haitian called JLP and said that on the island they eat wild cats, not house cats.
Like a bobcat or something.
Well,
like
they
that.
may just be feral. They may just not be domesticated, but they are house cats, but they're out there. Maybe.
Yeah,
Could
yeah.
be. So,
But, yeah,
and what's wrong with that, you know? I mean, they're animals. I don't see anything wrong with it. I see something wrong with stealing somebody's pet. But
yeah, that's the crime in it, right?
yeah. But other than that, like, I don't have a problem with the Asians eating dogs. I don't have a problem with people eating frogs. I don't have a problem with people eating cats.
Well, yeah, that all comes from, like, you know, famine.
Right.
And, like, in China, for instance, they eat live rats.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Yeah, but that
Bruce
they
Lee
eat
did
it as
that.
yeah, and they eat it as a delicacy now. But it's because they used to eat it that was all they had to eat in famine. So it's you know, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a sign of a lower level civilization, because Haiti is a messed up civilization, I think, compared to the Dominican Republic. And I get that there's some natural occurrences that happen. It's not really their fault, but they are a dysfunctional society, kind of like Puerto Rico, I think.
Yeah,
Maybe not as bad as Puerto Rico is probably not as bad as Haiti.
Well, Puerto Rico gets a lot of our tax dollars.
Right.
That helps them, but the money gets squandered over there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's for sure.
They're known to be pretty corrupt.
But then it's like, I talk to a lot of Puerto Ricans. I have a Puerto Rican correspondent on my show, and I used to have to, like, drill into, like, listen, I could feel more empathy for you guys if you stopped talking about us.
Yeah.
Like, we're your problem.
Right.
Like, if it wasn't for us paying our tax money into your island, you wouldn't have police, you wouldn't have firefighters, you wouldn't have ambulances, you wouldn't have any structure there.
Yeah.
So it's like, understand that your middle class can only get screwed over because our middle class gets screwed over.
Did they have a female governor?
Yeah, I believe so. Ugh.
Yeah.
Female leadership, I can't do it.
Right. I don't know.
It's an oxymoron, female leadership.
Yeah, it really is. Right now, their leader is Pedro Pierluisi Urita. But let's talk briefly, before we get back to calls, about this pile of trash comment. I heard it the morning afterwards on my drive in. I was listening to the radio, and they played the clip. And they played the clip, but they cut off the clip before there was a chance for any laughter. Was there any laughter after this joke at the Trump Madison Square Garden rally by this, what's the guy's name again? Tony
Hinchcliffe.
Hinchcliffe. He told this joke, and what did he say? He said there's this island of trash floating around somewhere. It's called Puerto Rico. You might have heard of it. Something like that.
Yeah.
Do you remember the wording exactly?
It was basically, he made us think he was referring to that floating piece of garbage that's out in the ocean.
Oh, yeah. I'd heard of that.
Then he goes, oh, yeah, you guys heard of this floating piece of garbage? Basically what you said.
Okay.
He goes, yeah, it's called Puerto Rico.
And Puerto Rico is well known to be like you said, a territory of the United States, but they are Hispanics. Cortez, I believe, is part Puerto Rican, and there's a lot of Puerto Ricans in New York. Some are pro-Trump, some are anti-Trump, and some of them are socialists, like Sandy Cortez. And the Trump campaign distanced themselves from this joke. I don't know if Trump himself did. I couldn't see Trump himself really necessarily making that joke because he's like a good-natured person, and he's kind of smarter than to offend people potentially. But I don't necessarily think it was a bad joke because I wasn't there. I can't tell. What do you say?
It wasn't. It really wasn't. It was like pretty standard if you're talking about like like a roast kind of deal.
Yeah.
Here's the thing too, and I don't know if Tony Hinchcliffe knew this, right? But Puerto Rico, funny enough, actually does have a problem right now with their garbage.
Wow.
Like their island is literally covered in garbage because I think they're having some kind of dispute or union issue. I don't even know if they have unions there, but where they don't have anybody collecting their garbage and they don't have any place to put it.
Oh, wow. He may know that.
So maybe he knows that, and that's where he was making his point. Because I thought because of what's going on in the news and everything, I thought the joke would have been funnier if he said Haiti.
Right.
But then when I heard that, I was like, oh, maybe he was on like some, third level thinking.
Yeah.
With his joke, which he's a comedian. He's a professional comedian. Maybe he did his research. So there is some truth to the joke.
Yeah.
So, and there's a lot of Puerto Ricans coming out actually saying that's how I learned it. Is he showed video of it? I should have shared it with you. But,
wow.
Yeah, showing that it was on the news too. They're having a problem with their trash.
So it's real.
It's a legit problem.
And so the Puerto Ricans are they for Tony Hinchcliffe and still for Trump?
I haven't had a lot of conversations about it, to be honest. So I don't know what they're thinking. The ones I know, I'm just talking about what I've seen online.
Yeah.
And you take that with a grain of sand. You know what I mean? But
from what I've heard, there are some people who are offended, and they're the ones who are typically offended and wouldn't be for Trump anyway. And then there's people who don't care. They're for Trump.
Well, there's also people who understand, like, it wasn't Trump that said it. It was a comedian that was speaking at a Trump event.
Yeah.
I tend to, like, hear most of the people that hated it, they all start their rants online with Tony Hinchcliffe at Trump's hate rally. They have to call it a hate rally.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's the only way you can make the joke sound hateful is to make it sound like he was at some kind of Nazi event.
Right.
And everybody was Zig heiling and
and that wouldn't be the worst thing that they'd heard in that case. It wouldn't be the headline.
Yeah, it's really not.
Yeah.
It's really not. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the main consensus is. I actually have my Puerto Rican correspondent coming on my show tomorrow, so he'll let us know.
It sounds like some Puerto Ricans agree with him.
Yeah, a lot of them. I see it actually being pretty split.
Yeah.
Really, most Puerto Ricans that were mad at it were the Hollywood Puerto Ricans.
Right.
Like John Leguizamo came out.
Oh.
Trying to revamp his career through Trump. You know what I mean? And us Puerto Ricans, and then he has to speak in the Puerto Rican accent. Latino ese.
Oh, Lord.
You have to
Terrible.
put it on. Relax.
Let's get back to some calls here. Well, there is one line open, guys. While I have you, I'd like to get to Joe in Phoenix, Arizona. He's on the line here. Joe in Phoenix, you are live with Crishaun the Don and Hake. How you doing, man?
Good morning, you two. I didn't know you had Crishaun in today.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, Joseph.
All right. The whole Puerto Rico thing, freedom of speech. If you don't like it, then don't listen.
Nice.
The thing that I thought was worse was how graphic and disgusting and crass he was being about the Latinos when it comes to reproducing.
Are you referring to Tony Hinchcliffe?
Yeah.
So he was saying stuff like they breed like roaches or something like that. What is he saying?
No, you wouldn't appreciate me saying that, what he said, because it's too graphic and disgusting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I could understand that. Sometimes comedians go a little bit dirty. Did you happen to hear that part of it, Crishaun?
I remember something about them having a lot of babies or something. I don't remember it being graphic and disgusting, but you know.
Yeah.
Hey Joe,
he described the act, Crishaun.
Okay, maybe it was like sexual, graphic in that way. I thought you meant graphic as in like nobody should consume this, like that kind of graphic.
No.
What did you think
graphic
of George
describing
Lopez?
a sexual act.
What did you think of George Lopez's joke about Mexicans?
You know, I didn't hear that, but typically when it's a member of the community making fun of the community they're from, it goes over a lot better.
Those are dumb liberal rules, in my opinion, though. Don't you agree? I get that it goes over better. You're describing the reality of how people are, but don't you agree that that's lame?
When he says goes over better, he means less funny. By the way, it's funnier when a white guy makes fun of other cultures.
Yeah,
it's just funnier. We're more creative.
Interesting.
You know, you have a habit of trying to put words in my mouth, Crishaun. That's not what I was saying at all, actually.
I was translating.
No, you weren't. You were trying to put words in my mouth, and you're wrong as usual.
Well, you weren't. He knows that you didn't literally mean it's funnier, but yeah, you're being kind of ill-humored today, right, Joey? In Arizona.
That's the thing about when liberals go after comedians and jokes. Yeah, they have to be super serious, and I don't understand or people that think the way you think. Sorry, I don't want to call you a liberal. I don't know if you are, but you're liberal-minded. Liberal-minded, is that fair?
You believe I am. It's just like you falsely believe I was voting for Kamala. So you just make up things in your mind. You think they're true, and it's not real.
A lot of time, that's the way. But isn't that human nature? People hear something that somebody says, and they will make an assumption about the person. That's just human nature, man. That happens with you. That happens with HADEN. That happens with everybody.
And sometimes I make statements like that to push people to be honest.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to back people into a corner for them to like you.
It happens with Ronnie in Ohio. It happens with everybody.
Well, you couldn't push me anywhere, Crishaun, because your mind is just ridiculous. But anyway,
but it's like for instance, you always come in and you want to talk about the fake electors thing, right? The reason why I never engage with you in that is because you're already starting it from a conspiratorial standpoint that's not been proven or it's not even real. Like to call it a fake elector scheme is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the mainstream media.
You're just proving your ignorance. It has been proven. They have the actual electors. They've already admitted to it. They've already struck plea deals. You don't know what you're talking about, Crishaun, as per usual.
Yeah, but there's different courts aren't the final decider of what if these things are real or not.
Right.
Sure, people strike deals. The fact that you said
true.
They struck a deal makes me think okay, there's something else there.
Yeah.
There's murderers walking the streets because they struck deals.
Yeah, there's something else there. They try to save their own skin. That's what's there.
Yeah, which means nothing as to their actual guilt or right and wrong, as you've pointed out, that the courts have nothing to do with actual justice.
Not quite what I said, but close enough.
Yeah.
But you're using it as a final point of look, it's been decided.
Yeah, it's like calling Trump an adjudicated rapist.
Yeah,
which you've
which is
said.
A fact.
Right, I know
but
it's irrelevant to whether he's actually a rapist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've explained that many times, James. You know exactly why he is a rapist. Trump is a rapist, adjudicated and in regular terms too. He's a rapist.
Oh, okay. You just kind of like lowering your own credibility by saying stuff like that.
It's just reality.
Joe, aren't you like a lawyer or something?
He is. He's sort of
retired. Yes.
Yeah.
Retired, and I still do some work.
According to him, which I believe. For some reason, I believe him when he says stuff like this.
Yeah.
So why don't you
right time and time again?
Why don't you speak like a lawyer?
Yeah.
Where you should understand that there's a different burden of proof when it comes to civil cases and criminal cases.
I am speaking. That's why I used the word adjudicated, because he was by a U.S. district court, Crishaun, which you wouldn't know anything about.
But you also used the word in regular terms. He's an R-wordist, and that just shows that you know that the world is getting away with. You know that the world is getting away with slander, so you're okay with slandering a good man.
I said in regular terms because that's exactly the words that Judge Kaplan used. That's why I said that.
You're hiding behind.
You're assuming something.
You're hiding behind some unchristian, probably evil judge.
Making up stuff in your mind again.
Right. Yeah, I am making that part up. That Judge Kaplan is unchristian, but he certainly wasn't acting very Christian by calling him a rapist. But go ahead.
You mean following the evidence? You mean?
Right.
Anyway.
All right, Joe. Let me ask you a question.
Real quick, Joe. No. Hold on. I want to let Crishaun do one quick follow up, and then you get to your Trump thing, because we do have time. We have an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Not that I'm going to keep you on that long, but we do have other calls too.
He's got to tend to the goats.
So let's hear it.
Joe, why do you call it fake electors, or like, do you understand that you're not being honest in the beginning of the conversation?
Crishaun, that's exactly by definition what they were. They were not the appointed electors. They submitted
They were
false.
They were alternate electors.
Nope. Wrong. Alternate electors do not have meetings. Alternate electors do not submit falsified documents that they have that will try and change the vote from Biden to Trump.
What I'm saying is,
Crishaun.
They're not fake, because this is what I'm saying. In certain cases, and I'm sure you know the cases, you can, as a candidate, you can send alternate electors. Now, what's the case that you can do that?
No, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong, Crishaun. You're wrong again. Alternate electors.
Yes, you can.
No, you're wrong again. Just shut up and listen for a second. Alternate electors have been there, but what they do is they sit on the sidelines in case an elector can't fulfill their duties. Illness, injury, what have you, then they come in. Alternate electors do not have meetings, do not submit fake documentation to try to sway Mike Pence to change his vote. That's what happened. That's why
That's not what happened. Change his vote in what? You're just saying things now. You're not even making sense.
Oh my God! You have no idea. They
wanted Mike Pence to not certify the election in order to check to see if there was widespread voter fraud.
Which, of course, there wasn't. For the sake of the
means, and they tried
to
do
that. Hold on, Joe.
No. Shut up. I was talking. Shut up, Crishaun.
I was talking
for 10 seconds. I was talking. You cut me off. So again, they tried to.
But you're going to completely ignore everything I said.
By submitting fake elector slates. That's how they tried to get that done. You have no idea what you're talking about. You're trying to say that you do. And it's just incredibly revealing about who you are and your lack of integrity.
Lack of integrity? Listen, if you're going to say that I have lack of knowledge on the electors and all that, that's fine. But lack of integrity, come on.
Yeah,
I think integrity, because you're trying to say something that you have no idea about. You're trying to come off as knowledgeable, and you have zero understanding or even idea period about what really happened. And again,
because you're telling me, honestly, I'm trying to tell you what the process is, and you're telling me what other people were saying in judges and cases and all this stuff. Like,
again, you're not even listening. That's not what I'm saying. I'm telling you exactly what happened and why they've been indictments and why there's already been felony plea deals. You moron.
Okay, why did it get thrown out in Nevada then?
It didn't get thrown out in Nevada.
It did get thrown out. Maybe you need to update your news sources.
Crishaun, you're wrong. Again, nothing got thrown out in Nevada. Absolutely nothing. You're wrong.
It did. I don't know what to tell you other than that.
Huh.
What is it, Crishaun? Are you talking about an individual?
The cases of the fake electors, the fake elector case or whatever.
Crishaun, you're just absolutely wrong yet again.
Let me tell you how I know, because when I saw it, I thought of you immediately.
There wasn't one case in Nevada, so it can't exist. What you're saying is the fake electors.
Maybe I got
this in Nevada.
I might have got the state wrong then. I might have got the state wrong.
Exactly.
Okay, but cases have gotten thrown out, right?
Not that I've heard of, no.
Okay, then you need to look at the news.
Oh, the news you don't trust, you mean? The mainstream media?
No, the other news that I do trust.
Okay. You know, James,
Yes,
I
sir.
don't want to stay on forever, but one last thing. When I listen to your Nerf Nazi callers, like the guy in Texas and the one there in L.A., it is so abundantly clear that they feel under attack.
Right.
You know, the whites this, the blacks that, the blacks, the people of color, blah, blah, blah. And their whole world is just crashing down around them, which I find hysterical. And why I think...
But shouldn't you wish them well? Shouldn't it seems like you should be like hoping that they, wishing your you're part white, wishing your white Christian brothers well, rather than laughing at their dismay. Where's the love?
The world is passing them by, and they can't handle it. I'll give them an example.
Right, but where's your love for them?
My love for them is trying to gently nudge them in the proper direction to stop hating people based on skin color, which doesn't mean anything anyway.
Well, then why are you hating them based on their hate for skin color or whatever?
Nobody says hate.
But you are hating.
Me.
You're laughing at their misfortune. And by the way, you were judging Crishaun just now. You're judgmental.
Okay. Yesterday you
True
said
or false?
that Bannon went to prison and Holder didn't, correct?
Right.
And you're trying to intimate that it was the same crime.
No, I was saying that I
Congress.
wasn't suggesting that it was the same crime. I was calling it held in contempt of Congress. I don't think that's a crime.
Yeah, it is. That's why Bannon went to jail.
But they just decide that you're a criminal just because they're mad at you, just because they hate you, because you want to defy a subpoena. Defying a subpoena is not necessarily a crime, right? Isn't there something like that?
Quite.
Oh, well,
Not
whatever.
Quite. But you said that Holder didn't go to jail. It was a double standard because Holder is black.
Right. Holder's black, and he's kiss up, and he's lame, and he's a liberal, and he's establishment.
And that's part of your delusion that white people are under attack. Because here's the real reason why Holder didn't go to jail and Bannon did.
Uh-huh.
Holder eventually did hand over 7,000 pages regarding Fast and Furious. Holder did, in fact, show up and testify before Congress. Bannon did neither of those things. That's why he went to jail and Holder did not.
But Holder actually did something wrong, and Bannon did not, to my knowledge.
They both defied subpoenas, and that's why Bannon...
I know, but the subpoenas were over something that Holder did something wrong with the Fast and Furious thing. Got an American killed, allegedly.
So you believe.
Bannon did nothing wrong. He was just standing up for the president and for the country, and they subpoenaed him over it, trying to blame him for January 6th or something dumb like that.
Holder did nothing wrong. Gun-walking operations were standard practice that had been done many times before Holder got in office.
So how do you know that Holder did nothing wrong?
As I said, gun-walking operations were standard procedures to try to get to
He
the
didn't
big
gun
fish
walk.
and-
He gun ran. He was gun running, not gun walking.
Okay, believe as you like. The point is, James, is that
He got Americans killed and he did nothing wrong. And you know this. How? You don't know it. You're just ignorantly saying that he did nothing wrong. You might as well be saying Hitler did nothing wrong. If you say Holder did nothing wrong.
That's your stance, not mine.
That's not my stance.
Anyway.
You don't know me. Holder is Hitler.
Again, your belief that is only because he's black. That's why he didn't go to jail.
No, it's not
It's
just
ridiculous.
because he's black, because he's black and liberal.
That's what you said.
Yeah.
Yes, because he's black.
Black and liberal.
Why do you always ignore the liberal side of it?
Right. Because if you were black
I'm not
and
liberal,
for
and I don't
America,
care about liberals, super sound.
if he was black and for, if he was black and for
I'm not
America,
liberal, and I'm not going to be liberal.
if he was black and for America, then they would be going after him, like they do Justice Clarence Thomas and other sensible man.
Crishaun, as I told Hake many times, I've been on two different congressionally appointed committees, GOP committees.
Impressive.
I'm not a liberal. Yes, it is impressive.
It's not
I'm not a liberal, never have been.
Republicans can be liberals too. Newsflash.
Yeah.
A non-liberal doesn't vote for Obama twice and still brag about it, like Obama was a good president. That's the flash. Hank.
Obama was an excellent president.
See,
Based
liberal.
on the facts alone.
So
You
what
can only be a
parts-
liberal if you're being like that.
What parts
ahead,
of
Crishaun.
Kamala Harris line up with your conservative standpoint? Like, I don't
What,
understand
my what?
why. Like, you. No, I'm saying what because last time we talked, you were having a problem with like choosing between Trump or Kamala. So I try to find out if you're conservative, what part of you lines up with Kamala, where it's a hard choice for you.
You're trying the same tack. I never said I was ever even considering Kamala because I'm not.
I didn't either.
And I
I just
told
said
you exactly why.
The choice is clear. It's
so
pro-Trump.
you're not voting. You're not voting then.
Didn't say that. Looking for a third-party candidate, which is tantamount to throwing my vote away, I realize, but it's better than voting for a convicted felon, zero quality person like Trump.
He is a high-quality man, and the felon thing is just a headline, and you know it.
He's an adjudicated rapist, adjudicated fraudster, owes over $500 million to the state of New York, and growing. Adjudicated liar with the defamation of character. Twice.
Defamation of character, like you're one to talk, buddy. I got to run, Joe in Phoenix. You snake, but you're pretty well exposed to yourself. Thank you, man.
Yeah, okay. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Love you, Joe.
Yeah. Holder versus Bannon. Holder did nothing wrong. Interesting. It's pretty rich that a person like that thinks that Trump is this bad person. But Obama was very divisive. He divided the country, and this guy is a lawyer, and Obama went only after his political enemies. The Obama administration went after the Tea Party, went after the whites, went after the independent thinkers. Did not go after.
Well,
it was one-sided. He was a one-sided president. Go ahead.
I didn't mean to jump in on you.
No, you're fine.
But it's like with Joe, right? It's when he goes, "Oh, I'm laughing at white misery now," or whatever he said. Where it's like the part I wish he would just be honest about is just when you asked him why do you feel that way, if he would just go, "Well, this is what I wanted."
Oh.
It's like, at least if he would just be honest and say that, then it's like, okay, now we can. At least you're honest. It's like him going, "Oh, well, I just want to lead white people down the right direction, right path." It's like, get out of here. You're not.
I
you
know.
don't
Yeah,
care.
that's true.
Yeah, you hate white people.
Yeah, he agrees with the establishment about the whole racism narrative, that whites are the perpetrators primarily, and he's just like a normie thinker. Worse than a normie thinker, because normies can see through the attacks on Trump being politically motivated, because Trump is he's under attack because he told the truth. Trump is.
Yeah.
And that's quite clear.
It makes a lot of people uncomfortable to hear the truth because it shatters their little fairy tale world that they created for themselves. Yeah. It's like villains. I always picture Joe, sitting there in a robe when he's talking, petting a hairless cat like a villain. He's a villain.
I'll get you next time, Gadget.
He's like Buffalo Bill.
Mark in Los Angeles, California, is on the line here. How you doing, Mark? Thank you for calling and holding. You're live with Crishaun the Don.
Yeah, hello, Crishaun and Hake.
Hey.
I just hope I get half the time that white hating communist that you just had on.
You may or may not. We'll see.
This is called white affirmative action. Go ahead. You need equal time.
Yeah, first of all, I wanted to say in regards to the joke about the floating island of garbage, he should have said Haiti because he would be absolutely right. I have two quick yes or no questions for Hake. Do you believe that voodoo worship is satanic and demonic?
It sounds like it, yes. Yes.
Well, then the other day when I called and I referred to the illegal aliens as demonic, you challenged me on that.
No,
okay?
You called them demons.
No, you did. Yeah, you did.
No,
you did.
Listen to me. Hold on. You called them demons. You didn't call them demonic. You called them demons.
Same thing. It's a shortened version of demonic.
Are you a demon?
Pardon?
Are you a demon when you're angry and out of line?
No, I'm a Christian 100% of the time.
So even when you're angry and out of line, you're being like Christ.
Well, I'm not perfect. I sin.
So is sin demonic?
Well, not as in the same category as worshiping voodoo or eating cats and dogs.
One leads to the next.
They are eating cats and dogs. And I feel okay. So that's that. The other question.
All right.
Do you believe in a civil group to aid and abet in the deportation of these colored criminals that have invaded our country?
I'd be okay with deputization. It should be orderly,
Right.
of course. And we like to be civilized in how we go about things. Now, Popcorn Stump Keg, Popcorn was, he's a super chatter of mine, Crishaun. He was suggesting that Mark was for, oh, you look illegal. I think I'll round you up. Was that what you were thinking, Mark?
No,
round up anybody who looks illegal?
No, we would have to go to classes. We would call the police if we suspected, and they're not hard to find, Hake.
Right.
These colored devils are all over the country. We would be able to help aid and abet the law enforcement in deporting these scumbags. Okay, so we got you're with the civil force, and you believe voodoo worship is demonic. So I was right on both counts the other day. Now, in regards to Eminem, and I'll make this quick, Eminem represents white guilt. And I want to ask Crishaun if he believes white guilt is a form of mental illness.
That's a good question. That's an all right question. I don't know. I don't know if it's mental illness. It's like maybe I guess in the way of like Stockholm syndrome. Takes over your mind.
Okay, I'll buy that. That's mental illness.
Brainwashing.
Yeah, I believe white guilt is poison, and it will destroy our race, which is what your last caller wants to do. He married some white person, so obviously.
But he's part white. Why shouldn't he marry a white if he's part white?
He should marry. If once you got a drop of black blood, you're black. Sorry, Crishaun. That's the rule. Okay. Now, I have another question.
The one drop rule.
All right.
The one drop
rule.
Hey,
wait, real quick, Mark. Let me ask you a question. What is your background? Like, what kind of white are you?
Well, I don't want to get doxxed. I'll just say that I'm Eastern European, of Eastern European descent. We got some, Crishaun, we got some real evil people that are trying to dox me. And if I give them too much, they're going to try harder. Yeah. They're never going to do anything. But I just don't.
How can they dox you off of what your ethnicity is?
I'm 100% white, and I would say Eastern European descent.
I didn't know that about you. I didn't know it was Eastern European.
Yeah, I never said I was Irish. What I said was half of Nazi Rockwell's members were Irish.
Okay.
I didn't say I was, but that's fine. I didn't care.
Where did I get the notion that you were? I got
because I said that when I made that statement. From then on, I was Irish forever, and I didn't refute it.
Right.
I didn't want to refute it.
So it was all my assumption.
Yes.
Whoa.
Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No problem.
It's an insult to be Irish. No, I'm kidding, chat. I'm just kidding.
No. But if you read the book, Dispossessed Majority, it'll break down what groups are assimilable and what aren't. Puerto Ricans aren't, by the way. Now, on this last question for Crishaun, in our last conversation, I asked you if you believe that the Constitution was written by white men for white men. And your comeback to me was that all men are created equal. Now, here's the question. Thomas Jefferson is the one who said that. He was a founding father. My question to you, Crishaun, was he a hypocrite or was he a racist? He owned slaves, and yet he said all men are created equal. That's the question.
Again, look, I'm really good at mind reading, but through time and space, it doesn't really work. I don't know what Thomas Jefferson was thinking. I mean, he also supposedly had like a black slave girlfriend.
Yeah, that's what people are trying to claim. Now, I say,
I don't know if that's true or not. Well,
I say that although we have different positions in life, we're still like created potentially maybe equal, if you want to call it that. I don't know. It's not in the Bible to say that we're created equal.
Well,
but
I know,
I
but even
see, let's say, look at me. I look at a prisoner or a criminal, and I'm not necessarily like a criminal on that level, like how they're a criminal at least. And I look at them and I see them as equals to me. And although I know that they're a criminal, I think similarly, Thomas Jefferson and these other guys who had slaves, they treated slaves like they were slaves, but they still saw them as men, as equals. But they were, but they treated them in on Earth. You treat people differently.
Mark, you're asking the question from like it's a flawed question, because the thing of going like, is he a hypocrite or is he a racist? Like, I don't personally
my
believe
answer is he's a racist. That's my answer.
Meaning he was saying that they are not men.
He truthfully believed that they were not equal to white men, and that is very true. I don't believe
slavery. I don't believe slavery was racist.
I don't either.
So that's why.
But
okay, then how can you ask that question?
Of a man, I believe
how do you even ask? Hold on, Mark. Give me a second.
Sure.
If you don't believe slavery was racist, then how do you even ask the question that you posed? Is he a hypocrite or a racist?
He said that all men are created equal, and he had slaves, and they put into the Constitution, Negroes will be considered 3/5 of a man. It's in black and white. So
they're not even calling them 3/5 of a man. They're just saying we count them as 3/5 for the population so that they don't have so much power. It didn't have anything to do with whether they were whether they were men or not.
I don't see how anyone who owns slaves can believe in equality. It just doesn't jive. It doesn't. And again, I'll try this question one more time, Crishaun. I think you're good. I think what you stand for is good. And before I forget, Trump was never convicted of rape. You allowed that numbskull that was on before me to get away with that slander.
I mean, I called it slander, and I'm like, give me a break, whatever. You're just kind of exposing yourself.
Mark, you gotta understand that we're not gonna sit there and say it every single time he calls Trump a racist. We're gonna argue it. It's like it's bait.
Well, then why do you give him 25 minutes on the phone? That's fine.
Don't pout.
No, I'm not, but it doesn't make sense. Okay, Crishaun, I'll again ask you the question.
Now.
Pardon me?
I said don't ask for phone time reparations.
Very, very funny. It's just that he gets a monologue for 20 minutes every day to spread lies and communism.
Go ahead with your question.
Believe, my question to Crishaun is, do you believe, again, I'm going to ask this, that the Constitution was written by white men for white men?
Yes, because even in your logic didn't even hold up when I asked you one question. Yes, I do. No, I don't. Sorry, I don't. I'm sorry. Go. I believe it was written for all men. All men were created equal.
If it was written for all men, why were Negroes 3/5?
It was written for Christian men.
Why was it? Why was a 3/5 compromise in the Constitution?
Because they didn't want to give the slave drivers the voting power of all their slaves.
Okay, good enough, but that still doesn't make them equal. If you have a slave, you can't believe he's your equal.
Do you know the difference between spiritual equals and on earth fake equality?
Mark, you're having a hard time. You're having a hard time compartmentalizing morality treatment and government treatment.
Yeah,
like you could be like
on Earth. Let's say men and women. Men and women have different roles. Slave and free and masters have all different roles. But when you talk with a woman, you're not talking as though that you're looking down on the woman. You're talking to her like a fellow man, a fellow daughter of God or fellow daughter of Satan, whatever you are.
Mark, do you see women as equal?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so does that mean that you're a sexist? Well, it
does.
You can but does that mean you hate women? No, misogynist. Sorry. Does that mean you hate women?
Whatever you want to call me doesn't bother me.
No, he's not calling you that.
I'm not calling you that. I'm asking you a question.
Sure. Yeah, the answer is yes.
Yes, you hate women?
But does that
Or
does
no,
that
you
No,
don't
make
not
you-
hate. I didn't say I hated it, women.
Yeah, but
I
that-
believe men are superior. Men are to rule women,
Right.
and whites are to rule the world. And if we try to integrate with these devils, we're going to all perish. And
What I'm saying, let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
White guilt, you said earlier, will destroy the white race. You're right. And also white pride will also destroy the white race.
Yeah, you should have neither.
White pride?
What I'm saying is your logic didn't even hold up when you said, you asked me the question based on him being a slave driver, is Thomas Jefferson a hypocrite or a racist? Then when I
Right,
asked
and I
you,
didn't get an answer.
hold on, because it proved your logic doesn't hold up. When I said that I don't believe slavery is racist, you agreed with me. So how can you even ask the question, is Thomas Jefferson a racist because he had slaves? Your logic doesn't hold up.
No, if he said all men are created equal and he was a slave owner, to a lot of people, that's hypocrisy. Not to me. Not to me, it's
Me
not
neither.
hypocrisy. No, I believe he was a racist, and that's
you're
not
doing-
a bad thing. Or you want to
you're
call it a
doing
white
what-
supremacist, whatever you want to call it. He was, I believe Thomas Jefferson was. And I'm proud of him as an American. And I'm proud of racism in America as a white American. It built this country. And you give a swine, a communist swine, okay, you give him the whole show if you want, but you give him all this time to gaslight the audience, and it's just not right, man. He's doing everything from calling Trump a rapist to putting a death wish on me, and he gets airtime.
And doesn't
you heard
he-
what he said about Asthma.
Don't you notice that he diminished-
You know he wants Trump dead. You know he wants Trump
Don't you
dead.
notice that he? Don't you notice though that he diminishes himself when he talks that way?
Well, he does, but there's a lot of lunatics who will fall for his gaslighting.
Good for them.
Like Trump's a rapist or the alternative electors. They were alternative electors, and because there is censorship, not because of you, Hake.
Right.
I'm not blaming you on this, but because there's censorship on this channel, I can't go into the full detail
Right.
about why these men are being charged because they were for Trump.
You're
Steve
old
Bannon
enough.
and Peter Navarro went to prison because they were for Trump. Holder is a racist and a white hater, and he walked when he didn't show up on the subpoena. That's why he was called about the gun running. Bush stopped that. Bush started it and stopped it. Obama started it again, and it was called something else. And our Border Patrol died because of Holder.
Brian
and he
Terry.
got to walk because he's a Negro. That's the bottom line on him.
Well, I appreciate it, Mark in Los Angeles. I understand your frustration, but you're old enough to know that the world is corrupt. There's no justice in this world.
It's an anti-white world. There's a conspiracy
And so what's to me,
worldwide
you got to accept
destroy
it.
our race. Pardon?
You have to, it's good to be able to accept it and take it like a man, take it in
What,
stride.
genocide? I
Yeah.
mean, you want to accept genocide?
Yes. In the
That's
sense
what they
that,
did to our white brothers in Haiti. They
right.
killed every white man, woman, and child on that island.
I know, but
And,
the,
you know, and
Who's
some of the
who's
people in the
genociding
chat
white
cheered it on.
men in
Pardon?
America? People are genociding
I
white
didn't
men
hear
in
you.
America?
No, this was in Haiti a couple hundred years ago.
yeah.
The Negroes, the slaves.
No,
had a
because
revolt
we're
and
talking.
killed-
You're bringing up Haiti. We're talking about America.
I know, but that's our
'Cause
future.
you said
I'm just pointing out that you shouldn't be so up in arms about it.
Well, I mean, I could be pacifist. I
No,
could
there's
be
a different.
liberal.
There's a happy medium. There is a just right way to respond, and it's a little bit more manly than overreacting all the time.
there's a term.
Well, I don't feel I'm
there-
overreacting. I
Oh,
just
okay.
tell the truth.
All right.
there's
I do.
a saying,
Nice.
Mark. Cooler heads will prevail.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
think you're a little
they're white.
hot-headed.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a little hot-headed only because I'm seeing my race destroyed. Then
Well,
the
it's your
media
fault, though.
propagating.
But
That's
you're
your
hot-headed
fault.
because you're angry. It's not because of the race destruction.
Let me just say this last thing to Mark real quick.
Yeah.
This is what created white guilt and why you're in the position you're in. White men are to blame for your own misery. And it's all because you failed to stand up to your wives and lead your households. So you let them get brainwashed by liberals and they controlled your households. And you got so far generationally into it that you stopped being patriarchs.
Nice.
So if you just stand up to your women and tell other white men to stand up to their women and stop taking on their politics because they don't want to have an uncomfortable conversation, you'd be better off.
Well, I don't
That's
know.
why your women
I'm
are
not
going
gonna
over
give-
to black men and Arabs.
That's white guilt,
Right.
self-hate.
It's not white
thing
guilt.
is-
It's white cowardice. You're cowards.
If we take action against every interracial couple we see, we'd all be in prison.
Because that's unreasonable. It's ridiculous.
What is?
Taking
What's
action
ridiculous?
against any interracial couple you see, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Stupid.
that is good catch.
Well, how else
I'm
do
glad
you
that somebody's
resist
listening. I was reading
How
chat.
else- How do you stop it? This race
By
mixing poison.
setting a better example, showing the light. But
Being
right now
men
you're not
again.
showing light, you're showing darkness because you're taken over.
so-
You're overcome by the darkness. It's
You're
overcoming
sulking and whining.
Yeah.
Mark. You're whining.
you. Yeah.
Well,
That's not
okay, I'll
attractive
leave
to
you with-
women. It's not protective. Like, just
Okay.
stop whining. Be men.
Okay, let me
Be
just say
explorers
this,
again.
and I'll go. In 1960, about almost 90% of America was white.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are 60 odd years later, and we're down to 60%. And my final statement and question to either one of you guys, right now, the crime rate is 13% of the population are Negroes. They're committing roughly 80% of the violent crime. What's going to happen when that number of 13% turns into 50%? We'll be Haiti, my friend. We'll be Haiti. We'll be South Africa. If you don't think I should be afraid of that, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. If you think that's okay, then there's nothing else, that I could say to you.
Fair enough.
I'm not denying all the crime stats and all the problems with black people. I'm just saying I think you're scared because you have no way of protecting yourself. Also, I think a big part of it is you live in LA.
Yeah.
They leave you with no way to protect yourself, so you feel helpless and scared. Move to
Well,
Florida.
I'm from the
Mark.
Midwest.
I don't think that it's just that. I think he's just spiritually has this issue.
Well, I've been in the military. I've seen it there. I've been in college. I've seen it there. Everywhere I've gone, I've seen the double standard. If you're white and you're a racist, you're in last place. If you're a white-hating Negro, you got the floor is yours.
Yep.
And it's even relevant in this on Hake's show. I love you, Hake, but you got to admit that's true. You can
But
see
that
the double
came-
standard.
That came, Mark, from decades of you being afraid to be called a racist. You should have just been like, all right, I'm a racist, but let's talk about this stuff.
I've been
Well,
an
let's not
admitted
make
racist all
racist-
my life.
Here's the funny thing, Mark, because I made the point that I don't believe racism. I came to this conclusion. Racism is not evil or good. It's amoral.
Okay.
And the white people get scared of the word racist or being labeled a racist.
It's a guilt
And-
complex.
Yeah, and I get that it happens, but you still got to take that chance. You got to roll that dice, and that's the part of being living with integrity. Sometimes it's a hard,
agree.
long road, lonely road. But
I
you
had
got to
to
take those
laugh.
bumps.
I had to laugh when the last caller said that you don't have integrity. Just a quick story to show who doesn't have integrity.
Real
When,
fast, and then we got to wrap it up.
Yeah, when a caller or a guy wrote a letter to Mr. Hake offering $500 for me and that devil to get off the air for a year, I agreed to it. The guy without the integrity, Satan, that you just spoke to a little while ago, he refused because he has no integrity.
Nice.
So when he called you and said you had no integrity, what a two-faced snake hypocrite. That's all I got for you.
I'll be honest, Mark.
No, go ahead.
You like, because your whole thing is that you get mad that Hake takes you off the air, but you're willing to sell that out for $500. I don't think that shows a lot of integrity. I'll be honest.
Well, no,
it
I
was
wasn't gonna
$500
take-
from Hake.
It would have
Oh,
gone
from
to the
Hake.
bond
For
group.
Hake. It would go to Hake.
For Hake. For Hake.
Yeah, or to Bond or
Oh,
whatever.
okay, you were trying to give back to the show. I got
Yeah.
you. I got you.
Yeah, I was going to give it to the show. I didn't come up with the offer. Some guy did. The point is, I was willing to do it. That Satan in Phoenix wasn't.
Nice.
Who's got the integrity? He has none. He's just a racist and a white hater, and he tries to pretend like he knows it all. And half the time, you guys fall for it. Like when he said Trump was a rapist. lie. He was never charged with that crime, and he was never convicted of it. But
Right.
it went
Mark,
right over you guys' head. I love you, but I got to call you out when you make a mistake.
Thank you, man.
Mark, can you just admit that we pushed back on Joe? Like, you're acting like we didn't say anything. We just let him.
We're
Well,
like,
you
oh, yeah, I
did.
guess you're right, Joe.
Well, first of all, you gave
Yeah.
the scumbag too much time. Second of all, everything
gave
he
you more
said
time.
was a lie. They were alternate electors. They weren't whatever he called them. And I don't care if they were convicted. Look at these fraudulent courts trying to convict Trump. These
Okay.
I literally
communists,
made those
and
same
he's not a
arguments to
liberal,
him.
by the way. He's a commie. They're using lawfare to shut Trump down, and they're trying to use censorship to take Hake off the air, and Jesse, and probably you too.
Well, thank you, Mark. It's fun
Yeah,
talking with you,
yeah.
man.
God bless you all. Thank
All right.
you.
Mark,
Bye.
much love. I like talking to you, man.
Nice.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
All right, bye. Wow, that was interesting. I
Mark
think,
gets me like in the fighting mood. Like, I want to punch
yeah,
somebody
he's
now.
fiery. That's why I thought that he was. I don't know how I assumed that he was Irish, but I think that the issue is you brought it up. You said white fear or white guilt or whatever is destroying, but so too is the rebellion against it, because the rebellion against it is also emotional. It's anger, it's hate, it's false pride, and it's a shallow thing. You're getting tempted. They're attacking the white, but really they're attacking God. They're attacking this. The attack is spiritual, but instead of identifying with the spirit, they identify with the white. It's kind of like they set up a straw man, and then all of a sudden you start defending against a straw man argument, when in reality that was never your real argument.
It's all really just like trying to get their anger out more than it is the argument.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just I just want to yell and get mad and scream at you. Like, I don't feel like it's even about the argument anymore.
Right. True. It is just egos.
Yeah.
Egos fighting.
And I'll say this, because there was a point where I had gotten like rid of all my like personal deep-seated childhood anger, all
Yeah.
that type of stuff. And I realized like I started using like the politics and all the stuff going on as a way to get angry. You know what I mean? And express
Right.
anger through that. And I realized like that, like I was using that as an excuse to be angry.
Yeah.
Because it like you get, people don't judge you really on that if you're getting angry. It's like getting angry at pedophiles or something like that.
Yeah. Nobody
people
really
kinda
cares.
cheer
They
you on.
understand it, and they
Yeah.
identify with it. They agree with it.
Yeah,
That's true.
so it enables your anger
Right.
because it is for a good cause, but that doesn't necessarily mean that anger is,
Yeah.
a good thing.
And it's sort of entertaining, like a dumpster fire. There's some people who watch that or listen to it and love that mess. There's an angry guy on the radio who, when he gets real animated, he gets crazy. And then some people like that. Some people don't. They're like, I can't listen to that. It's too angry. But other people like it. And so you're always going to get people patting you on the back even when you're wrong. Spiritually wrong. You may be right about the complaints. The complaints may be fair. And I think most of Mark's complaints have a big element of truth to them. But it's just the anger is just blinding and taking you off track.
Right.
Oh, man. Alex in California is on the line here. Let's plow through some of these calls. Alex, you're live with Crishaun the Don. I appreciate you calling and holding, man.
Hake Bear.
Hey.
Also, shout out Misfit Nation. I'm a new subscriber, and Crishaun's one of my favorite guys.
That's cool, man.
Oh, thank you, Alex. Appreciate you.
Crishaun, I really appreciate how you freely use the N-word and the F-word.
Nice.
Now, is that the FAG word?
Yes. Makes
Spell
me
it.
feel like I'm at home in the 90s again.
That's so
Yeah.
true, man. I didn't even know it was a bad word at all. When I first heard it, it just sounded like funny. But anyway.
We all called
That's
each
the
other
thing,
that
too.
stuff. It didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Both words are just so fun and funny to say.
Right.
I don't know. It's just is what it is.
Yep. Nice.
I wanted to kind of respond a little bit. You guys are talking about submitting to women and that kind of mix of stuff you're talking about with Mark. And I'll probably catch heat for this one today, but I think the main issue is that men submit to women through lust. And
Yeah.
I think that women, it's actually women's problem is the lust thing. And it's probably one of the biggest reasons why everything is so bad these days. I get really tired of hearing like, oh, you just need to get laid, you know, just need to get laid.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so for that hour I get laid and then the rest of my day I have no problems. It kind of seems like someone who gets drunk to, you know, cover up their issues, but then once they're sober, it comes right back. Like, how is getting laid going to fix everything? You know?
Yeah.
Like, why do we submit to women? Give them that. We give them that power over us.
Neediness, emotional, self-indulgent, false neediness. I think. I don't know. What do you say, Crishaun?
That's attached with, and you're saying that from a man's perspective, being needy.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
A man who's also abstinent.
That's a man who's able to abstain from that self-indulgence, from any self-indulgence, really.
It's interesting because getting back on women, you know, their biggest solution to having children is abortion. How about abstinence? Did we just forget about that completely? Or?
They've gotten rid of that completely. That's crazy, huh?
It's not even that hard after a while. And once you realize that not having sex for making children is shameful, you know, and we all need to kind of reflect on that, I think.
Yeah.
It's a huge issue we have in the world. But in my mind, I see that that's the way that, I mean, we're doing the interracial thing, maybe bad too, but submitting to women through lust, that's probably the worst thing that we do.
It's among the worst, definitely. It's a lot closer to getting to the issue. The worship of the woman, the men's worship of, it's like impulsive. There is a video, a short that JLP has out on his channel that says, never, ever, as long as you walk this earth, try to please a woman or try to hold on to her, because you will regret it. But there's something impulsive, even when there are guys who agree with that, but then once they get with a woman, they're whipped automatically.
Yeah, they're little.
Yeah. And it is something impulsive. That's something like spiritual that the intellect cannot overcome, because intellectually, a lot of people will agree with that statement, but yet their spirit is still subject to that woman.
I think a lot of them fell for that whole like romantic thing, which wasn't really a male's perspective.
Evil Disney cartoons with the love stories.
Right. And then even like a lot of movies, period, it's always the man chasing the woman.
Not Christian.
And there's a thing to that it has an everlasting effect on the relationship if you're chasing her too much.
And it's not just lust. It's like a ego pleasing of yourself, using her to please your ego, her attention.
Well, the other part of it, I'll try to convey it as clearly as I can, but they hold it over our heads to emasculate us. It's like, and the men do it too. Like I said earlier, oh, you just need to get laid. So if I'm not getting laid, that means I'm not a man. Or if I'm not pleasing some trollop, that makes me not a man.
Right.
And I'm not angry. I'm just speaking loud because I'm driving.
No, right on. It doesn't matter. You can talk loud and talk. It sounds angry, but it's not angry. We're not thinking anything.
Does that make sense though? That they use that to emasculate us?
I have a theory on that, actually. I think that's a woman's I don't even know what to call it, innate way of testing us to see if she's actually with a viable person. And it's almost like men, we're more physical. Like if I wanted to test another dude, I'll push him or I'll punch him or do something. You know what I mean? Women can't do that to us. So the only way they can do it is mentally test us. So I think that's why I've noticed that anytime I've been in a relationship, women love and respect me more when I push back against their nonsense. Like when they try to make me wear a matching sweater. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that's I think now that I'm older and I look back on it, the reason that none of my relationships worked out was because I was like that and I didn't submit to them, and they want you to submit to them. And since I didn't, they turn that into, oh, you're controlling, you're overbearing. It's like, no, I'm just not letting you control me.
Nice.
The way I explain it to my girl is it's better for you to want me to do that than to me actually do it. Because once I do it, you're going to think that I'm less of a man.
Yeah, he won't respect you anymore.
And that's where I get rid of my anger for women, is that it's just in their nature to test us.
Yeah.
So it's like when my girl does that, it's like, okay, this is just your nature. This is you being a goofy female.
So true, man.
Yeah.
It totally helps you understand them. Go ahead. Yeah.
Did you have time for like one more minute on one other thing?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't know who to ask about this. Maybe you guys can give some insight. So I don't know what's going on with me lately, but I've been living in the present for a long time, and I feel like that what that's doing is it's making time go by so fast. Like I was in the studio yesterday working on a video, and it was literally like 8 hours. And when I got in the car to drive home, I felt like I literally just spent like 5 minutes. And it's starting to feel like that like every day. It's time is just racing by. Is that part of being present, or is there something going on with me? Do you guys relate to that?
I personally can say that when I am present, it is less drudgery. When I'm present, I'm not. I don't know if it necessarily goes by faster. I don't know if I've noticed that. I don't know if I'm on your level.
Like, you know how they say time flies when you're having fun.
Yes. Yeah.
I guess time flies when you're working, putting work on stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like I don't know how to convey it. I feel like 8 hours went by in 5 minutes, and I'm starting to feel like life is just slipping away very quickly.
How old are you?
I'm 38.
38. Okay. You're a little older than me. Well,
are you present, Crishaun? Do you stay present?
I think so, because I actually found myself living this year almost, and I don't know if this is what you mean by present, but day by day and like even minute by minute kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it actually went by slower for me. This year didn't fly by for me. Like I remember everything that happened. So I wonder if are you really present, or do you just think you are? Maybe you're really not present, because I've gotten into that world too of being, stuck in the editing and studio and all that stuff. And sometimes having that same scenery and doing the same thing over and over makes time go by faster. So maybe you just need a little
taking
change
dabs
of scenery.
has anything to do with it?
Say it again?
Taking dabs?
Smoking a little bit?
Are you still there?
Yeah, like taking a dab.
Oh, he's cutting out.
Drums, guitar, bass, everything.
Taking a dab? Like you mean like marijuana?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Hake wouldn't.
So which one of you is present on pot?
I don't know. I'm so locked into what I'm doing. I just look at the clock and it's like 2 hours has gone by, and I'm like, what? Like I just got here.
Is that on or off pot, Alex? Out of curiosity. On pot.
Oh, both.
On or off. It doesn't matter. It flies by either way. And for you, is it on or off pot that it goes slower for you while you're present?
Either or. Doesn't really.
And neither of you is necessarily thinking that it's a bad thing that it's going by fast or a bad thing that it's going by slower. Is that right?
I'm starting to be more aware that it's going by quicker, and it's starting to feel like a negative thing. But
okay.
I don't know.
Maybe it's a maybe.
Yeah, I know that's kind of a nonsense thing to bring up, but
no, it's not nonsense. It's interesting.
Do you think maybe because you're and I don't mean to make this dreary, but you're coming up on 40, maybe you're having like a little midlife crisis kind of deal?
Probably. I mean, I've had to deal with being canceled, and I'm trying to get back into like the band thing, but I'm conflicted about it.
Interesting.
Like I know I want to be playing drums. That's what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. But it's like, how do I find an outlet to do that instead of making stupid reels? Minute-long reels. Feels lame.
Oh.
Yeah, the music business it drains your mind. So I mean, I tell you to like make it more of a hobby, focus on something more tangible. I know this is like old dad kind of advice.
I get that completely.
Get a haircut, pull up your pants.
Oh yeah, I don't look like that. I look like Captain America. I'm a real clean cut dude.
Homelander over there.
I'll let you guys go. I know I'm taking up a lot of time here.
Well, interesting question, man. I definitely wish you well with that, and watch your judgment of it too. Because when you're starting to judge it and feel like it's a negative thing, that's pulling you out of the present into like dread. And
I basically just don't want to feel like life is just racing by. You know, I'm trying to be enjoying what I'm doing, and maybe that's what's causing that. I'm enjoying myself.
Well, it's kind of one of those things. It maybe you're trying to like step out of reality. Life does race by, so you have to kind of like not focus on it as like a negative.
That might
and
be.
Just enjoy.
It might be
what you got.
Yeah, it might be the reality hitting, which is kind of a good thing. You don't necessarily want to. You don't necessarily want to chase an enjoyment feeling. You want to be able to face the dread feeling so you can get through it, like a man.
Right.
You're trying to find a fix to it, and there's not really a
All
fix.
right, well, I'll let
just
you guys go, and I
live life,
appreciate
man.
your insight on that.
Yeah, very relatable, man. I appreciate it, Alex and Callie. Take care.
All right.
Appreciate you,
guys have a good
Alex.
Bye.
You too.
You know, I have some super chats, Crishaun the Don, and I would be remiss were I to be remiss in my duties. Then I would be remiss.
Go ahead. As the
over-
black folks say, you got to pay some bills.
That's true. And we don't like to. I don't like to leave you guys short shrifted. So let me see if I can. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I step away for 2 seconds? while
Oh,
you do
sure.
that?
Yeah, that'd be
All right, cool.
fine. That'd be fun.
I'll be right back.
Sounds good. In the meantime, let me read. Wing. He'll be right back, guys. Kevin House is okay. Yeah. Kevin House is Lord Hake. LOL. Those are like folk tales, and that's because I'm criticizing the Disney propaganda of love stories. The folk tales are evil too, as old as time. What else was there that I wanted to get? Oh, this guy. Well, whatever. Is it okay that I show him? I try not to show him. This person says, black and white stripes. Yesterday I was wearing stripes. Hopefully that's foreshadowing. He thinks I'm going to jail. He was hoping I'm going to jail. Am I still expected to send you a super chat on Halloween? No, you're not expected to do that. I like to stick to my word. Well, I'll consider this one done, Mr. Little Rocket Man. What a boring show talking about 16-year-olds and their relationships. Are you okay? Oh, and I looked up the Little Rocket Man reference, and you think I'm that bad? I wasn't thinking you're bad, Mr. Super Chatter, Mr. Rocket, Little Rock. I was just calling you Little Rock, Man, because you're from Little Rock. I may actually call in Thursday. Why not? It's Halloween. Y'all should dress up. You could uncover your horns. The nerve to play Sarah Vaughan. It's Vaughan. You familiar with Sarah Vaughan? Crishaun the Don is back. You familiar with Sarah Vaughan, Crishaun?
Sarah Vaughan? No. I don't know.
Oh, she's an old school black female singer woman.
Ah.
Old. Very cool.
I'm more of a Minnie Riperton fan.
Oh, right on. Not familiar.
Minnie Riperton, greatest singer ever.
Nice. Sarah Vaughan sang a rendition of My Funny Valentine, and other people have sung it maybe better, I don't know. But I liked it. I liked her version. Played it yesterday. Also, only the older generation really plays this with their lovers born in the 50s or 40s. Well, never mind. Time to go. Thank you, sir. Okay, where else am I? Okay, Popcorn's Thump Keg says, yesterday in response to my coffee, I believe, you made the comment that Haitians are often dirty. Taro, you make it sound so bad, Popcorns. I didn't mean to say it like that.
Looks so horrible in text, doesn't it? That's why news articles like actually take people down.
Yeah, true. Because it sounds so much worse when they repeat it. When I say it, it sounds nice, at least in my mind.
It removes all the inflection out of it and the joy.
And they don't have values of the country at heart. Oh yeah, true. Yeah, and I do say that the Haitians don't have American values, oftentimes. It always amazes me that people have this false sense of fairness in saying things like, well, we want people to come in the right way and only those who make the country better. put aside for a second the fact a lot of people who say that don't want foreign people of color here, regardless of their legal status. Many people do. I was thinking about you when I was thinking about this issue last night, Popcorn's Thump Keg, because I used to be only against illegal immigration. I was for illegal, but now I'm not for illegal immigration either. I want a moratorium or something. I want severely, throttled immigration. I'll ask you this: what value do you?
I want it like super vetted. Like,
yeah,
we only have the best of the best of the best coming into this country.
Yeah. What value do you, Hake, bring to this country, and how do you make the country better? Foreign business owners employ people and bring valuable services to people here, and I would argue that they do more for the country than people trying to keep them out. Maybe, maybe not, because money isn't everything, and bringing employment isn't everything, because they're bringing employment of their fellow people who end up voting our rights away. And what do I do in this country? How do I make it better? I pick up the litter sometimes. I don't know. I don't drive too bad. I don't get into too many car accidents. What do you say?
You're not eating cats and dogs.
Yeah. I don't really commit that many crimes. I'm not, I don't know. I don't know. It's a good question.
This is why questions like that annoy me. Is like, could you imagine going to China and saying to like a Chinese citizen, like, what do you bring to this country?
Right.
And why can't we have other people in this country? It's like, Hake's American.
Right.
He's supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Like, that's.
I was born to Americans who were born to Americans who were born to Americans.
Yeah. The point is the foreigners have to make an argument as to why they should be here.
Yeah.
You know, remember back before you and I were born, they had to get like references from citizens. Like there was a lot.
Oh yeah, the good old days.
Than it is now. Yeah.
And they had to learn English, maybe.
Absolutely, yeah.
Grandpa Daryl on D Live says Mark said Negroes were 3/5, but it was all slaves. All slaves were 3/5. It wasn't just Negroes. It was all slaves.
That's a good point.
And black free citizen was counted as whole, says Grandpa Daryl. And he may know. Grandpa Daryl may know. So I caught that too, but I didn't jump on it, Grandpa Daryl. And I didn't know. I don't know my history.
I subtly jumped on it because that's why I brought up the point of slavery not being racist.
Right.
That's part of why I don't believe it's racist, because there were black slave drivers as well. So
yep.
I just think they needed human beings.
That's right.
Cheap labor. That's all it was. It was business.
Indeed. Some Dinesh D'Souza called it socialism, basically, because they weren't, socialism, slavery, and so they weren't paid extra for being good slaves or paid less for being bad slaves necessarily. So that's why the more capitalist North thrived more, according to him. I don't know. I remember it from Hillary's America. It may or may not be a fair assessment, but shout out.
And this is why I don't think people are ever honest about the slavery conversation. I think everybody should admit that it would be fantastic to have a slave.
Fair enough.
Now, if you look at this whole robot craze with Elon Musk, the whole thing is, oh well, the robot will do whatever you want it to do. It's like, so we want slaves.
Yeah, true.
It's just the human element that makes us uncomfortable about it.
Yeah, and the brainwashing.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't own another human. I mean, people spiritually are owned by one another anyway. There's always a pecking order, and in every situation. And say like you and Joe's trying to get a pecking order above you. He feels like threatened by you, so he's like. It's interesting seeing Joe react to you.
Amazing.
Nothing brings out of Joe what Crishaun the Don brings out of Joe. It's interesting. Anyway, Ronnie from Ohio says, I looked into the SB 1070 per your recommendation, and it's not related to what I mentioned yesterday when I suggested my solution to fixing the border. My stance on the southern border is simple. States like Texas and New Mexico and Arizona should use the National Guard to protect their border in areas where the federal government has failed to do so. Thoughts? If it were that simple, I think that they probably would have done it. I know that they've deployed the National Guard to some level. It's nice, but that's also not deporting the illegals who are here. Maybe you're right, Ronnie, that the states are not doing all they can. I don't hold that against you because I'm leery of the Texas governor. I'm leery of even your governor, DeSantis, to a lesser extent. So you may be right that they are not doing all they can.
Well, that's where sometimes even with Trump's plan, I get a little weary, is because his plan is that when they ask him how are we going to deport all these people, how are we going to round them up and deport them, he says we're going to do it through the local police. It's like how many, like for instance, California, how many of your local police are going to go, no, we're going to go against the order.
Yeah, right.
We're going to fight Trump to the end.
Yeah.
It's just going to become one of those things. So maybe Florida does well on it. A couple other states will do well on it. But
yeah. But we'll get what we can. We'll do what we can.
That's I'm fine with it.
And I like Trump's can-do attitude. That goes a long way in getting stuff done.
Maybe that gets us better local representation as far as like Trump. They go against Trump's orders to actually deport people. We'll get rid of the sheriff. We'll get rid of whoever.
Yeah.
Councilman.
It exposes. Trump is good at exposing people. Yeah.
Yes.
Take a stand and people get exposed because they'll react to you.
Yeah.
Angban Art bought a coffee. I work drywall and paint. Very cool. Under an Haitian builder at a townhouse site. Oh, cool. And he is very strapping, healthy-minded, and smart fellow. Just want to put that out there. He moved here from Haiti, has an accent and everything. He black. Right on, Angban Art. It's fun to hear about the good ones. It's always heartwarming to hear about the good ones. I chuckle because it's considered racist to say one of the good ones.
One of the good ones. Yeah.
Terry bought a coffee. I hope you'll examine your prejudice against the Irish after today's revelation that Mark is actually Jewish. Mark is not Jewish. That's funny, though.
He did say Eastern European.
I know. I'm like, somebody said, oh, Mark is Ukrainian, somebody in the chat, and I started cracking up. Mark, we defend your honor.
I love Mark.
Yeah. Skyjack bought a coffee. Men are 100% superior to women. Just lost my girlfriend because I stood up to her for this fact. Don't be afraid, men. Harness your natural, God-given patriarchy. Very cool. Yep. Right on.
And here's the funny thing is you have more integrity than her. She'll be back. She'll be back crawling on her hands and knees.
Yeah, and whether you should take her back is another question.
Because, make sure she changed.
Yeah.
Women are capable of changing, at least for the time she's with you.
Yeah. As long as she sees you as the authority until she finds somebody else to be her authority. What a mess. Shout out to the D Live crew. Army Ann, thank you for the support as always. And Kilo Alpha Tango, Grandpa Daryl, Misty, all you guys. Thanks, guys. Okay. We're coming down to the, we're coming down to the end here. Before I get to anything else, Crishaun the Don, tell the people how to find you. Any last words that you want to get in here? Go ahead.
Just follow me on X at Crishaun the Don. My YouTube channel at Misfit Nation. Podbean, misfitnation.podbean.com. Just jump in the chat. You know, we're fighting the algorithms just like anybody else. So leave us comments, likes, subscribe, all of that stuff. We do a call-in show sometimes on my show as well, so you guys can call in. Everybody that calls in, totally invited to come on my show. I'll be doing a show tomorrow night, Thursday, 8 p.m.
That's
Eastern
really
Standard
cool.
Time. That's colored people time because I do a show with the colored.
8 p.m. Central. Wait, 8 p.m. Eastern time, you said?
Eastern Standard Time, yes.
Okay, cool.
Here on the East Coast.
Nice.
And I just want to say thank you, Hake, as always. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate you. Shout outs to JLP.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And I had a close mentor type person recently, yesterday actually, died.
Oh,
so
wow.
I just want to shout him out. Rest in peace. His name is George Henry. He taught me a lot on the job that I work. Really good man. So just wanted to shout him out.
You're still working security over there?
Yes, sir.
In beautiful Florida. Is
Yes.
it true that this whole Florida man stuff is only because Florida releases their information on their criminals and the rest of our states don't?
I believe it's that compiled with the liberals for some reason. Well, I know the reasons, but Florida is one of their punchlines that Florida is this crazy, wacky place, and it's because we're a red state, and we're pretty solid red, except for like maybe 2 counties or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's basically that's why I never got behind the Florida man hashtag.
Right.
When they were doing that on all over the internet, and we were planning on doing like a little segment for our show, which we did for a minute, but then I was like, wait, I don't feel this. I don't like this.
It's
I
kind
think
of jumping on the trend against beautiful Florida.
Yeah, yeah. And look, crazy stuff happens everywhere all over the United States. But
That's what I think.
Honestly, just walking down the street in California, I saw 10 million times more wacky things than I do in Florida.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, yeah, I mean, we do have the people who go out and wrestle alligators and all that wacky stuff. I mean, it's just it's a fun place to live. It really is.
It's there's all kinds of different areas. There's the Everglades, there's inland, there's the coast. It's cool.
There's the beach,
Joel, are you
there's the
scheduled?
hood, there's everywhere.
You are scheduled. Okay, cool. A little quick comment from Omid over here, JLP's PR guy. You can't be present on pot, he says.
Can't be present on pot.
Yeah.
I don't. I think you may have like a bad idea of what pot actually is.
Okay.
In that, like, I mean, unless you're saying that you can't be present on like other pharmaceuticals, like Oxycontin or something like that, then I see where you're coming from. You're coming from a consistent standpoint, but I think people are starting to open their minds to the idea that marijuana, THC, all that stuff can be used medically. And I don't have a problem with that because I don't take any other chemicals, put any other chemicals in my body or any medication.
You don't do caffeine or anything? Or
I do a little caffeine.
Oh, okay.
Caffeine. But
caffeine.
Okay, but yeah. But I'm talking like, I don't even take Advils. I don't take any kind of like, I've had like tooth pulled and I didn't even take the pain medication for it. Like,
whoa.
Because I'm against that kind of stuff. But it's like I do see the medical side in it of why somebody would take a painkiller.
Okay.
So
yeah.
My thing, like for instance,
so for physical pain, you're with it.
Well, I'll tell you this: I have a problems with sleeping, and I'm trying to figure that out without anything. But I'll take the edibles to sleep.
Oh, okay. All right.
Like in that sense, I don't know if you're looking for presence, you're looking to sleep, but yeah. I mean, I don't advocate for anybody to do anything.
Nice.
Like,
fair
do
enough.
Whatever you want, yeah.
Right on. Well, it's been fun talking with you. Unfortunately, I cannot get to the rest of the callers. William in California wanted to talk about Hayden and Ronnie's comments and Haitians. Rick in Hampton, Virginia wanted to talk about the Supreme Court denying voter ID in Virginia. Jaime in Minnesota wanted to talk about homeless and the recovery community. Robert in Kansas wanted to talk about human leadership, which means white man leadership, I think. But I cannot get to you guys. I got to end on time, hopefully. This has been the Hake Report. Thanks again, Crishaun the Don of the Misfit Nation. I got to wrap it up, guys. Peace in the Middle East. I don't even know what I'm going to do this.
What?
Or at least in your hearts. We got to end on time. And I think I'll play a beautiful Adriana track because she's the rapper and we play rap.
What?
I don't know if this is even going to be rap. But this is Hake songs. And Adriana's going to say something nice. Bye, guys. What do I want to do? We'll do this one. Bye, guys. No, I'll do the Hake News rap. Okay, bye, guys. Take care.
Don't take the bait. You know that they are fake. I rest my case, there's no debate, listen to Hake. He tells it like it should, them posers wish they could. They roaming around in the ground, watch out, they lying now. Call me networks, evil snakes, that's why we listen to Hake. Hake, the Hake News.
Wasn't that fun? Shout out to Adriana, the rapper.
Like a Run DMC type of flow there.
Indeed. Thanks again, guys. Take care and bye, Crishaun. Have fun.
Later.
All right.
Love you guys.
Cool.